words of sociologist Michael Kimmel, masculinity is not something boys are born with, but something they must constantly do. But in the digital world, what happens when the proof comes not from mentors or communities, but from rage bait thumbnails and TikTok alpha gurus? We are living through what some might call a crisis of masculinity. Not because boys are failing, but because the cultural script for what it means to be a man is being written by algorithms, influencers, and ideologies that feed on insecurity. Psychologist Scott Berry Kaufman writes about the rise of performative selves online, where young men construct identities around control, rage, and rejection, because that's what earns views and validation. In this video, we explore this crisis through the story of Tim, a fictional 16-year-old navigating heartbreak, hormones, and the black hole of internet masculinity. It's funny, it's dark, it's very real. This is a story about adolescence, masculinity, and dopamine, and how a generation of boys is growing up online with a brain that's still loading. This is Tim. He's 16, emotionally squishy, gym curious, spiritually buffering. His emotional regulation, about 2 out of 10. If his crush says hey, he's euphoric. If she leaves him on red, he contemplates exile. His TikTok scroll rate is 1.5 seconds per video, which means his attention span is shorter than a Vine. And that app died in 2016. Recently, Tim found Jordan Peterson. He now believes making his bed will somehow dismantle the chaos dragon and solve modern dating. We're not here to roast Tim. We're here to understand him. Because Tim is real. He's not broken. He's unfinished. That's what adolescence is. It is a construction zone. He's trying to figure out who he is, while what the internet offers him is pre-made identities in exchange for his uncertainty. It started innocent enough. Tim clicked on a breakup video just once, but the algorithm doesn't forget. It builds a world around your hurt. Soon Tim's feed becomes a hyper-masculine fever dream. Stop simping, start winning, unlock your inner alpha. Why nice guys finish last? Yikes. Grief needs time, but algorithm doesn't wait. They respond with content, not compassion. And for boys with no one to talk to, rage becomes a substitute for processing pain. Inside Tim's brain, it's all sparks and static. Limbic system overclocked. Prefrontal cortex still installing. Dopamine circuitry hijacked by likes and rage. It is not dysfunction. It's development. But development under digital pressure. We don't give teen boys enough space to feel without judging them as weak. So they seek power instead. Not inner strength, an external armor. The tragedy? No one tells them that vulnerability is strength. Adolescence doesn't just dramatize teenage life. It captures it with unsettling accuracy. It gets the hormonal chaos, the way a single glance from a crush can derail your day or validate your existence. It understands the absurd drama of small things. A text left on read, a missed invite, a locker glance. These aren't just moments, they're perceived milestones in your emotional biography. It shows the confusion of identities, how teens perform versions of themselves on Snapchat and in school hallways, searching for the one that feels right. And most of it captures the emotional intensity, where everything feels like it matters too much. And yet nothing feels in your control. Adolescence is marked by what James Marcia calls a moratorium, a period of identity exploration, where emotional pain means uncertainty. Teens are vulnerable to premature identity foreclosure. They adopt rigidity, ready-made worldviews to feel secure. The manosphere offers just that. A blueprint for manhood that's simple, aggressive, and emotionally repressive. It turns confusion into certainty, rejection into resentment, and vulnerability into a weakness. As psychologist Neo Bay has shown, many boys start adolescence with deep emotional literacy, intimate friendships, the capacity to connect. But by mid-teens, that fades. They are taught to equate masculinity with stoicism, dominance, and independence. The manosphere doesn't create this, it exploits it. The manosphere thrives in the vacuum left by silence. Parents avoid awkward talks, schools skim over emotional education, therapy is stigmatized, so boys look elsewhere and online where they find rage, but with a following. Tim doesn't want dominance, he wants to feel in control of something. And in a world that mocks sensitivity and offers no model of healthy masculinity, anger feels powerful. Belonging, even to a broken identity, feels like a relief. If we were to stop this pipeline, we can't just shame the content. We have to offer better scripts, ones that offer vulnerability, complexity, and the right to not have it all figured out at 16. But here's what adolescence misses. Tim isn't just spiraling inwards, he's being pulled outwards into a full-blown ideological pipeline designed to convert teenage confusion into capital and control. It starts small, a breakup, a self-help video, a podcast clip about taking accountability. Then it escalates. Andrew Tate lectures on male excellence, Jordan Peterson dissecting chaos and order, blue pill versus red pill, Jim Grindset edits set to dubsteps. Before long, Tim's not scrolling, he's studying. Bell Hooks wrote that patriarchy has no gender. What Tim is learning is not just about men or women. It is a worldview, one that offers meaning, hierarchy, and identity in a time when he has none. The manosphere acts like a surrogate fatherhood structure, part preacher, part drill sergeant. There is no space for confusion, no room for nuance, just memes, formulas, and enemies. Zygmunt Bauman said modern life is defined by liquid identities, always shifting, never secure. The manosphere promises solidarity. Chad versus virgin, alpha versus beta. It's simple, it's binary, it's deeply addictive. There is no real care, just content. No listening, just lectures. There are no mentors, just monetized masculinity. Every like, every view, every click tells Tim, you are not broken, you are just not dominant yet. Carl Jung warned, if we do not make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our life, and then we will call it fate. That's exactly what is happening to boys like Tim. Pain becomes identity, identity becomes ideology. Terence Real puts it bluntly, we have raised boys to disavow the very qualities that make them human. Tenderness, vulnerability, empathy, and then we're shocked when they turn cold heart and disconnected. When boys aren't taught how to suffer well, they learn to suffer loudly. And the louder they get, the more we blame them, instead of asking where we failed to show up. The manosphere isn't filling a gap, it is the gap. A generation of boys raised on YouTube lectures instead of human connection. And unless we offer a better story, they'll keep choosing the one that at least pretends to see them. Now that we've understood the issue, let's try to break the psychology. The first place to look at would be social learning theory. So Tim sees how men act online and he mimics them. Another place to look would be operant conditioning. The more outrageous his content becomes, the more engaged he gets. It is also important to look at all of these concepts in the developmental stage in which Tim is at. He's at Erikson's identity crisis. Adolescence is meant for asking, who am I? But now, in the digital world, it is just about what do I post? If we don't give boys space to explore their identities offline, they build them online, from whatever they find. And what they find is often rage in a tailored suit. Now that we have come to the end of this video, if you like this breakdown, like, share, and subscribe. But more importantly, send this to the friend who's one podcast away from quoting Top G at dinner. Because feelings aren't cringe, therapy isn't weakness, and being kind might just be the most radical thing a boy can do online. In a world that teaches boys to perform strength, maybe the real flex is being soft without shame. The future of masculinity does not need to be loud. It needs to be deeper, more thoughtful, and a lot more human.